Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and make this bulletproof coffee so you can see how it's done. It's a very basic recipe. So you want to start with either 2 cups. I usually do 4 cups, but for this I'll go ahead and do just 2 cups of coffee because the ratios are easier that way. So I'm using 2 cups of water or 2 cups of coffee. I do 1 scoop of coffee grounds. I like my coffee a little strong. I do maybe 1.5 scoops. This isn't the coffee that's recommended. If you look at the Bulletproof Coffee demonstrations or anything, they try to tell you to use the upgraded coffee, which supposedly is stripped of all the mycotoxins and all that stuff. I just went and grabbed organic coffee from Sprouts, so I'm sure it's going to work just fine. But eventually I guess you can try the Bulletproof brand coffee, but to save myself from believing that this whole thing is just some kind of scam to market a specific brand of coffee, I'm just going to use the coffee that I buy and see how I feel on the Bulletproof coffee as a whole. So let's go ahead and brew that, the 2 cups. So the other ingredients for the recipe are grass-fed butter. Kerrygold seems to be the brand that everyone uses, and you definitely want it to be unsalted, but it has to be grass-fed butter. And MCT oil, which is basically coconut oil, but it's a more potent version of coconut oil. From what I understand from MCT oil, it's multi-chain triglycerides, excuse me. And it says here that it shows it's nutrition for the brain, improves cognitive performance, natural food sourced coconut oil. So it's supposed to be a dietary supplement. From what I understand, it helps your metabolism, so that's why some people have linked the Bulletproof coffee to weight loss. So as far as measurements, for every 2 cups of Bulletproof coffee that you make, you are supposed to, for every 2 cups, it's 2 tablespoons of butter. So if you look at this butter, the butter that I purchased, instead of melting it down or scooping it out, they have these little marks here that have the tablespoon measurements. So it makes it a little easier to get the exact measurements you need. So I'm going to go ahead and cut 2 tablespoons. Okay, once I've cut my 2 tablespoons, I'll go ahead and throw that in the blender. They recommend that you put some hot or warm water in the blender prior to warm up the blades. I don't really know how beneficial that is, but I just run some warm water or hot water through the blades. I don't boil water and put it in there and pour it out. That's just a waste of time for me. Next, we have to put in the MCT oil. For every 2 cups of coffee and 2 tablespoons of butter, you're supposed to use 1 tablespoon of coconut oil. So my normal size would be 4 cups of coffee, 4 tablespoons of butter, and 2 tablespoons of coconut oil or MCT oil. So now we pour the coffee into the blender with the butter. Then we are going to add the 1 tablespoon of MCT oil. And then we blend that up. They say that you know that the coffee is done when you see this little froth form on the top of the liquid, and it looks kind of like a latte. Now that it's done blending, go ahead and pour that into your coffee mug. And there you go. It is actually pretty good. Right now, the way it stands, it doesn't have much flavor, and that's because you need something sweet. So they do recommend that you use either cinnamon, vanilla extract. I personally just use a little bit of sugar. After putting a little bit of sugar in there, it is perfect.
I'm not saying, I'm just saying.